concerned about trouble and trying to be irresponsible, one-sided news stories.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
It is the reunion tour. Hey everybody, it's Dave with December 1773, and back with us after a 1-week hiatus is Ryan. This is the weekly show, and remember to subscribe by clicking the bottom right of the screen to become part of December Nation, and get more of the weekly show, all the week's hottest topics with a twist. Ryan's he better have stuff to say here. He got a extra week to prepare.
I don't prepare for anything, so
we were able to hold it down for at least one episode without him. We held it down in the saddle. Eve did. Did you watched it? How did you feel Eve did? She says people should want to bring her back.
I want to bring Eve back, but only if she's on camera.
She's not here right now. She's out of studio.
Only if she's on camera.
I don't know if she'll be on camera.
For someone who spends as much time altering her appearance as much as her, you think she would want to be in front of a video recorder.
I don't think so.
And this is coffee, not alcohol. Because I'm just getting up from sleeping still from last week. I appreciate you taking... I appreciate you and Eve holding it down while I was away resting.
Eve did call you out when we were holding it down about aliens. She did want to... You're going to come to our side at some point.
I saw some new alien stuff. I was talking about aliens just yesterday with somebody. And in order for me to believe aliens, I would have to kill one.
That's a weird stipulation. How many things don't you believe in because you have not killed them?
Well, considering somebody...
Do you believe in humans? Don't be careful. Don't self-incriminate.
I've seen the inside of my own skin. All I'm saying is, like, if they're like, hey, look at this alien, and they walk it through on a leash or something, like, oh, the scary alien's in a little magic floating water test tube thing. It's just letting us hold it hostage because it wants our best intentions. No, with the level of computers, like video games, graphics, and movies, and prosthetics, and I would have to, like, really grab that thing, And I also...
So you either have to kill an alien, you either have to kill one or sexually assault one to believe it.
Yes, both, actually, now that you bring it up. There's actually a term for hating extraterrestrial species or what. It's like speciesism or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you brought this up a couple weeks ago.
I'm a type of racist that doesn't even exist because we don't even know if there's other things. We just...
You're preemptively...
most likely is.
You're preemptively racist against aliens.
Yeah, it's like a thought crime with extraterrestrial beings.
In case they do exist, we just want everyone to know that you're against them. Speaking of aliens... Yeah,
come here first. Exactly. You can land in my parking lot. Won't mind.
Speaking of aliens, I do have a headline. Of course, headlines is my favorite segment of the show. I do have a headline that will lead us to aliens. Not for a lengthy discussion, but at least a minimal discussion. With that said, headlines. I got, after just telling Ryan that I didn't have that much for the show, I went through and counted my headlines. I got more than I thought. But we're going to start off with, this isn't Ryan's favorite person, because that would, of course, be Andrew Cuomo. But this is one of his top favorite people. Controversial Bill Gates funded plan to dim the sun's rays moves forward quietly. Want to stop climate change? Knock that sunlight down a little bit. What could go wrong?
Well, I forgot Bill Gates was a scientist, so
He did do computer stuff, so he must be a scientist.
the real question is why would if it's such a good thing for the Earth, right? This is the proposal, right? That this is going to help climate change and deflect the sun's rays. I'm sure some of their, I don't know. I'm just guessing. So if it's such a good thing and it's gonna work, how come we got to do it quietly? Why can't this be like in the middle of? You would think something so controversial as climate change, considering it's like one of the 10 worries of the world nowadays is forest fires and hurricanes.
Well, those are
Like,
all climate change.
yeah, all of them.
Yeah, none of that existed before human activity.
But yeah, so if it was so important, why wouldn't this, like I said, be in the town crier basically of public opinion and be able to be looked at? You know,
Because Ryan, the public, they're not scientists. They don't need to know about this. But they do need to know that climate change is dire.
I've been meaning to ask you this since you told me the story. What elected position does Bill Gates hold?
He is. Well, now that you mention it, I suppose he's unelected.
Oh, and he's doing what with the Earth?
Well, nothing with the Earth. Just dimming some sun's rays is all. They're just a little too bright.
Of Earth.
Yeah.
So, is it up to Bill Gates' opinion on when there's too much sunlight and not enough sunlight?
Well, he would know. He did create Windows computers, which are.
Without him, Windows.
Without him, there'd be no Xbox. So you should be thankful.
He created Windows and clouds, apparently.
He does.
My main question is I thought chemtrails were a conspiracy theory. I know these aren't specifically chemtrails, but the idea that you were using our particulate in airplanes, as one example, to chemically alter the atmosphere to do a variety of different things was a conspiracy. And here we have it for, you can look it up, people. It's a term. It's called geoengineering. That's kind of where chemtrail conspiracies come from, is that actual, and they really do it, you know? And this is, I assume, something that Bill Gates is trying to get through. I wonder if he has any stock options or businesses tied to some of these exploits of trying to dim the sun's rays.
Interesting.
You know, it'd be amazing if there would be corporate welfare for people trying to reflect the rays of the sun and try to capitalize on government subsidies so that they themselves can engross themselves in the corrupt capitalist model.
Well, that would be interesting.
I thought people hated Bill Gates 20 years ago when he was a thieving computer guru genius that would take down anybody. Like his time, you know, in his time he was the Jeff Bezos, you know, the richest guy in the world at one time, conquering the world, built computers, basically. And yeah, you hated him all them years ago when he was a greedy capitalist. And now he wants to give away all of his wealth and build up third world hellholes so that they're livable. You love him.
Well, luckily he took all that capital and tried to save the Earth by dimming the sun's rays and saving us from the coronavirus with his vaccines.
I have a question as well. One more before we move on. I'm sorry. Do we know if this will work?
Oh, well. Okay. Well, no. No, we don't know it will work.
How do we know when the sun's rays are going to be dim enough?
Well, I guess there'd be less climate change.
If you were to dim the sun's rays, wouldn't that give less sunlight to plants that would make them not get chlorophyll from the sun's rays?
Well, I suppose that could happen. Yes. But luckily, the greenhouse gases that everyone talks about has been very good for plant life.
I was just going to ask you, did you know that right now is like the time that there's the most trees ever?
Yeah.
Like in a long time.
Yeah. That's why there's so many forest fires. We need to thin those
It's weird.
bees back
It's weird.
out.
It's weird. We're having all these extra forest fires, but you're saying there's no trees. The forest fires are killing all the trees. Well, there's still trees to burn.
Yes. I do remember asking this question. Remember, I'm just a science nerd, but I do remember asking this question a long time ago when they were talking about the greenhouse gas effect, and I remember thinking, like, greenhouses are good for plant life, isn't it?
CO2, David. I
They
believe they breathe it in and
they
make
do
oxygen.
breathe it, and then they make oxygen. So how is that bad?
Yeah,
You want more oxygen?
Wouldn't
You
it be
want more
weird?
oxygen, but at what cost? Certainly not at 1 degree on average higher temperature.
Yeah.
Scorch your skin right.
I wonder if the Earth was warmer, if plants would grow bigger and yield more food.
That'd be interesting.
Considering, like, the further south you go in America, the bigger the bugs get.
Well, this sounds
closer to the equator.
This all sounds terrible. We should probably dim some of the rays.
Yeah, we especially want to dim them in certain areas, right? Even though the globe tilts towards the, where all the ice is, tilts towards the sun 6 months a year. All right, I'm done with this. I'm done with talking about that piece of shit.
Well, we'll see. I honestly don't
Bill
remember.
Gates accused of sexual assault.
I honestly don't remember if I have more Bill Gates stuff. This is interesting NFL news. Headlines. Russell Okung to be first NFL player paid in Bitcoin, 6.5 million of Panthers' salary. That's a lot of Bitcoin.
So is it all his salary, or he's getting cash and Bitcoin?
He's getting cash and Bitcoin.
Very cool.
Probably a smart move. It's up. To use a Trump term, it's up bigly. Bitcoin's up bigly.
It's a big V.
And so's Dogecoin, which I invested in many, many months ago. And when I invested, it was less than a quarter of a penny, and now it's over a penny. And I have many shares. Keep going. Elon's bumping it. I'm going to bump it with him.
Congratulations on your 200% profit gain on a fourth of a penny.
Well, it's up to a full penny now. Everyone needs to go Dogecoin. I'm telling you. Go all in. $1 billion market cap. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the $1 billion market cap. Go invest in Doge.
Billions. Well, that's pretty cool. That's cool to see that there's some professional athletes out there, because I've also seen statistics that most of those athletes live paycheck to paycheck basically too. They just have a higher standard of living.
Oh, yeah, they make more and then they spend more.
Yeah, because they're not smart with it. They're just as dumb as the average American.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's cool that he's looking at investments and stuff. I hope this gets like the ball rolling for maybe we can negotiate someday. At the private sector.
Yeah.
Be like, how about instead of giving me a raise, how about you contribute 1% more to my 401k?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I honestly,
they told us.
I'm sure a lot of people would be open to something like that. You'd be worse off right away, but you'd be, in theory, better off in the long run, setting yourself up for better retirement.
Yeah, well, getting a paycheck, you don't collect interest on getting paid.
Right.
My
and
1%,
also 401 contributions don't get taxed.
So it's actually
really
more money.
the smart trickery. Well, they kind of got it figured out because they tax you when you try to take it out. But I was gonna say the trickery would be to just donate it all to my 401k.
100%.
Just put it all in, match as much as you can.
Well, isn't that crazy, right? Wouldn't that be great if you could work a second job, and even if it was 10 hours, all of that could go to 401k, like 100% of your income, and then, but you would still have to pay state and local tax on that paycheck instead of being able to keep that extra money. Like if you work 2 jobs, you're taxed 4 times on top of all the other taxes. It's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty smart move on his part. I hope that works out for him.
Pretty cool.
That one we're going to save to last. We haven't heard about this for a while. We will say her name on this program. Headlines. Louisville police set to fire 2 more officers involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting. The officers were notified of their termination on Tuesday.
Well, there you have it.
So, the courts aside, Louisville went through and did their own internal investigations and said there was some misuse of force.
Which is what they suspected from the beginning, was it not?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So justice is justice, right? Or are
Well,
we still getting there? No justice, no
no.
peace? Is this a
Yeah,
little justice so we get a little
here's
peace?
where it gets tricky. I suppose if you're in Breonna Taylor's camp, I'm supposed you're still not very satisfied because it's not really justice. I mean, they lost their job, but they're still free individuals.
Right, but at least they're acknowledging that there has been some missteps.
Yeah, Louisville is, they're doing everything they can.
I mean, regardless of the scenario, no matter what happens, the Breonna Taylor will never walk again.
Right.
So, nothing will ever be good enough. And I can, I would absolutely agree with the sentiment of wanting justice done to criminals. But, just, we said it. Oh, we say it every time with these shootings. When they happen, we report them, and then we just say, we'll see. Because, courts take a long time. So, it went through the court, like you said, but this is a different avenue. But, hey, at least they're acknowledging their mess up, I guess. I know it's no consolation to people. But speaking of which, were you going to bring up anything about the incident in Nashville?
I honestly, no. I didn't have anything. I figured you were going to bring it up at some point anyway, so I didn't really get any headlines in there. But I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. Some of it's I don't want to be a conspiracy guy, but there's some weird.
I'm just so tired. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm so tired of everything like being so clean and cut. Of like, it seems like I'm watching a movie script. Like I'm pretty sure this has been in TV shows.
Yeah.
Like at least the same kind of like MO.
Yeah, I figure we'll probably bring that up after headlines. That's my guess.
Okay.
Because
I also want to try a new segment this week. Adding a segment.
Will it become my favorite segment? Now it's my favorite segment. It's going to have competition.
You got to do with competition, right? Just run me out of the game, Dave. Eve will be on this side, on this side of the mic before we know it.
Well, she'll just be in the studio with me.
And this will just turn into an alien-only podcast, pro-alien podcast.
We could turn that. We legitimately joked about doing an alien-only show. I think if people would sit here and watch us talk about aliens for sure. Aliens are such a fascinating thing.
I'm going to get a shirt made that says I'm anti-alien and start wearing it around. I'm sick and tired of this pro-alien shit.
I'll get a pro-alien one. We'll wear them on the show.
Yeah.
Headlines. California Supreme Court rules thousands of sex offenders in the state are eligible for early parole. This is in an effort to free up some of the prison population. It's a little too dense. So,
are they trying to free up the prison Are they trying to free up the prison population in preparation of the people who refuse to get a COVID vaccine?
Well, let's not worry about that.
This sounds like a class action, typical California move.
Yeah, I don't know if I would feel like I get the idea of thinning out the herd in the prison world. I don't know if sex offenders are my go-to, but I get it, I guess. I'm sure there's other people who are getting freed too. I would hope, non-violent drug users get freed before sex offenders, but we'll see. It's California.
If I had to pick for my white trash Monopoly or my white trash dodgeball football team, whatever I was playing, I would take a crackhead over a sex offender any day. So, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no one else can't free anybody else. I'm sure they gave them COVID vaccines too before they let them go.
Well, you can't.
Speaking of that, I seen multiple things on the news today about people waiting 14 hours in the car in long 3-mile lines in Texas, or one was of them. In one of the states, it was 3 miles. Waited in line for hours and hours, and it turned out like only 600 and something people got vaccinated, and everybody else was turned away.
That's good.
Hey, Dave, if someone only labeled this something, man, if someone only came up with a cool, witty name of people lining up waiting to get their shots taken. Like we were
Like some
waiting
kind
for
of like
loaves of bread.
like some kind of line.
Like a
Almost
line.
like in the old days during the Depression when they had bread lines.
Yeah, and they were rationing the bread. And this
So this
kind of
is
reminds me of all the stories you hear from the wars that you would get your ration book and the truck will be at the end of the street at 7 a.m. And if you're not there at 7 a.m., there's going to be no bread there. Well, turns out the truck gets there early. Turns out if you're not there 2 hours early, you don't get a spot in line. If you're there at 7, you're an hour late. That's what this sounds like. And then the government that's in charge of giving a vaccine rollout is the same governments that are trying to mandate you get a vaccine. And then I wait in line for literally half a day, 13 hours, the news said, some people, half a day in my car. What about all the CO2 you're killing the environment with these lines of people?
we'll just dim the sun's rays.
Oh, I like that. Bill Gates he's selling me the vaccines and the stuff to fix the global warming from while I'm waiting. Man, this guy is so smart. So yeah, the people that can't even give me enough vaccines to vaccinate a majority of the people are trying to mandate that I get the vaccine. And another thing, if the elderly are the ones that are supposed to get it, I'm sure the most elderly of people don't drive. So why is there lines of cars getting a COVID vaccine when our most susceptible peoples are stuck in nursing homes? That's what I thought. We were going to focus on seniors. If you're 45 years and under, you're at the low risk generally. So why am I seeing people on the news that are like even in their 50s? That's a senior, sure, but there's no woman in a nursing home that needs the vaccine. I thought this was the idea of socialism, that everybody gets what everybody wants. And when we have people that need things more, right? Because you want to this is always their point, right? They want the quality of outcome. So isn't the outcome to get my grandma, her vaccine? Why are we giving it to somebody's father and not their grandfather? But the same people they don't even have enough vaccines and people are waiting all day to get turned away by their very government. The very thing people are clinging to save them. Lock down our economy to stop the spread of the COVID virus. Lock it all down so that I'm safe inside my house. And the people inside are still getting COVID. You know, like this is so asinine. And then you have your biological breadlines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for it. Good job,
Well,
government.
to quote Bernie Sanders talking about breadlines, it's a good thing. Apparently,
It's a good thing.
it's a good thing. Apparently, breadline.
The only good breadlines ever in human history were the breadlines that they were feeding Holocaust survivors.
You never sat in line at Panera. Delicious breadline.
Especially the drive-through breadline.
Those are quick and efficient because they're capitalist. Yeah, this is a good one. Headlines.
I lied. Another efficient breadline was the Berlin air raids, but what do I know? Berlin airlift. I'm sorry, rather. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Chuck Schumer endorses Biden's plan to force public schools to allow males and female bathrooms. I missed the bathroom debate. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
Presumably, it's not all males. It's trans women. Trans females would be allowed in female bathrooms. They are males biologically, but they say they're females. So they should be allowed in the biological female bathroom. I'm presuming that's the case. The headline was quite transphobic, quite frankly. It said it was males allowed to be in females' bathrooms.
Yeah, we should change that language so there's no use of male and female, so we offend people.
It should
Because
just be
male
they
and
and them.
female is labeled as hate speech, and it is
They-
hateful that you use the term mother and father in public sentences and statements. We love you.
Actually, when I read the headline, since I'm so progressive and forward-thinking, I read it as they will be allowed in them bathrooms. I promise. don't hate trans people.
I don't hate trans people, but I will say that I don't know why we need to make laws that if you look like a dude, I don't care if you're in the dude's bathroom. And if you look like a chick, I'm probably fine with you going in the girl's bathroom.
Does
And I
it
gotta
really?
level with you. I don't care if a girl goes in the dude's bathroom, but I'm probably guessing females would have a problem with just a regular dude going in the bathroom.
Sure. And where the
This is
real
weird.
my real issue would lie in, I would almost feel worse in your case because you have a daughter. I wouldn't want a full-grown adult male in the bathroom with my little girl. I'm sorry, you can say it's transphobic, but I don't care if you have a dress on or not. I don't want you in the bathroom with a little girl. It's weird.
Yeah, I want to ask the question. I'm going to move beyond the bathroom debate here a little bit, but at like what point, especially in public school, at what point is this the subjugation of sexualization of our children? I mean, the premise behind a boy and girl, the reason we tell kids that is so that they understand that when they get older, the opposite sex is who they procreate with. That's the only reason why there's boys and girls is because we need that to make more people. So like we just tell our children that that's a girl. Why? Because they're different than you, and they're different because they're right? Like the reason we're both different is to make people. So like this isn't even like a trans debate. This is like seriously like when do we think that this is sexualization of our children? If I were to stop outside of a middle school and I were to sit there and ask every kid that came out of the bathroom if they were a boy or a girl, you'd be calling the cops on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there'd be some
you'd be saying this
some
guy is
eyebrows
being
raised.
creepy. This guy is doing this because it would be looked at as a way of sexualization of our children. But if I just paint public school on the door and I explain to these kids whatever it is, this kind of reminds me of Dare. David, did you take Dare in school?
Yeah, we did Dare.
Yeah. They don't do Dare anymore.
They don't.
No, drug
All
use
these
went up in
kids are going to
children
be on
after
drugs.
Dare. Dare went up. It caused drug use to go up because you're educating kids about drug use. Now, I'm not saying if we start talking about penis and vagina to children, we're just going to have a sudden spike of transphobic people or, transitioning children. I'm not saying that, but other people are saying that. But like, it's just, we should just leave kids alone. They're dumb. They don't know anything. We should just try to teach them stuff and get them into life so they can figure themselves out. Like, most people are looking for the state to fix it. Most people are looking as the state for the morality, for like those progressives. That's what's weird about it. Is like they want the progress they want is like they're trying to combat morals with laws, which it's not how it works.
Yeah.
Laws need to be grounded in morality, but you're not going to change morality through a law.
No, you can't change that.
And that's where like, racism, no matter what Abraham Lincoln did with the Emancipation Proclamation and freeing slaves, that didn't free the slaves. You had to like change people's minds on slavery. He made a law that said it's illegal, and it didn't mean anything until you put action to it. Like you added the morality to the law.
Even now, and obviously we've come a long way, but even now to this day, there's still people out there who, regardless of the law, have their views on race in this country. So, I mean, yeah, it's obviously the law is not really the answer. I've said it from the beginning. I didn't expect anything to come from this, and I still don't. But I do like this. Headlines. Ted Cruz leads GOP effort to refuse Electoral College certification, demands emergency audit of the results. At the very least, Mitt Romney actually had a post recently attacking this movement, stating that it was a disruption of democracy or some nonsense. At the very least, shouldn't we know that the election wasn't fraudulent? I mean, if it wasn't.
What was Romney's words? I want to use Romney's words against him. What was his words that he had?
I don't remember the exact term. I thought it was something about disruption of democracy.
Saying that the Russian government hacked our elections and used Facebook ads to influence our election in 2016 to make Donald Trump solidify as not disrupting of an elections. And that man was awfully batting hard on the Democrat side in a lot of ways. Now, I stand behind going against Trump when he's being an idiot, but I want to ask you with the Cruz thing in particular, because this is the GOP senator you're talking about, if I understand. Ted Cruz is on record, and I think even if nothing happens, I think Ted Cruz knows why he needs to have his name on this, because it will be a testament to the people's legacy that stood against us. Now, saying that you're not going to certify the election, there was more to it than that. The reason he didn't want to is because he wants the audit. He wants like an actual forensic audit of the vote so that the will of the American people, so that there isn't a disruptive democracy. So it's amazing.
That's correct. It's the opposite of what he's saying. It's the reason he wants this is so there is no disruption of democracy. That's exactly right. That's the whole reason for the audit.
I was at a family event today, and now I know my family leans one way over the other, which is besides the point. We were just talking about it, and we all kind of all felt different about the same way with voting, whatever it was with it. So, like, just in my immediate family, like, there's already all this consensus of different convicting. Basically, there's just uncertainty. Let's hammer it out. Let's figure it out. Where's the uncertainty? Let's make better laws. Let's have better machines. Let's go back to paper, whatever. Let's figure it out. Let's look at what we have. Let's audit it. Let's make sure. Let's not disrupt our democracy, our republic. God damn it, constitutional republic. But yeah, there's an old Marxist tactic. It's you accuse the other side of what you're doing, and you say if you're a murderer, you say, look at the murderer over there. He's a murderer, and you're actually the guy killing everybody. That's what they're doing here. That's what Romney's doing here.
You know what it actually is. I don't know how many of our viewers are going to get this reference, but there's a game called Among Us. And essentially in the game of Among Us, there's X amount of people who are on a ship together and they have to repair the ship and whatever. But some of the people actually aren't trying to repair the ship. They're trying to take out the people on the ship. It's a spaceship. And that's the exact tactic that's used in the game. I'm not the imposter. I saw that guy over there. He was the imposter. And then it's everybody's word against everybody's word, and you got to vote them out and try to get to the right people. Real good game, but that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, sowing seeds of distrust.
Look at us. We didn't do anything. Well, then why don't you?
Let's take it a step further. Distrust in democracy. They came out months before the election and last election. Remember, I already said it. Oh, the Russian government. We need to blah blah blah. They came out and said Iran, Russia, China, all these other people are trying to influence our election with all these outer means of whether it's Facebook ads or YouTube videos or whatever they come up with. Shouldn't we audit it every time if we know that there's trying to be foreign interference, not to mention domestic interference?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Why isn't this standard default operating procedure?
Yeah,
and then when it's brought up to a vote, it's used as a political ploy.
Well, to use a sports analogy, all scoring plays in the NFL are reviewed. I mean,
are you saying voting is equivalent of scoring, David?
A little bit, yeah. Why don't I mean? Don't just assume everything's right. Why not make sure? And we do have systems in place to do that, such as allowing all parties to view the election results as they're counted, and that was not allowed in certain states in this election. That's the whole issue. And if everything was legit,
it doesn't matter. There's no widespread voter fraud, David.
If everything was legit, why couldn't they just sit there and verify the votes? Yep, that's a good one. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, we're done counting votes. Everyone go home. All right, see ya. And then on camera, we have someone bringing in a box of ballots after hours, counting them out. Oh, that's a Biden vote. Oh, Biden vote. Oh, look at that. Oh, my God, 10 Biden votes in a row. There's no way that isn't suspicious. No normal thinking human being, regardless of party, looks at that and says, well, this is fine.
Isn't it crazy they can run basically every day after Trump was elected? It was just like an ad. Every day on news was literally an ad on trying to get rid of the guy and like why you need to hate this guy. And then imagine that it comes all the way to the other side, and we just blindly accept this guy that has no plan, has nothing else behind it. They can lie and they can just say anything they want about the election. And when the Donald Trump campaign is just like, hey, like, let's just look into this. You're disrupting democracy.
Well, that's the
Accuse your opponent of exactly what you're doing.
That's the other side of it. The left for years, I mean, literally until this year, and even still, we're doing investigations on the 2016 election. And then when this all happened, they had the audacity to go, well, how dare you question the election results? Are you serious? How can you possibly do it this in the open and no one questions it?
It's incredible. You know what I think about? How long have they done? Has this happened before? And just because of the internet and the way information and Twitter and social media and instant exchange of things, like, has that brought it to the surface? Have you lied in the past? This is the problem. This is why we need to audit it, so that now it's going to be the moon landing thing, right? Well, so you ask some people, yeah, we landed on the moon. Nah, we didn't land on the moon. No, we didn't land on the moon first. We landed on it later. That's what we're going to have with this election. It's going to be the moon landing effect.
Yeah. So I guess to bring it back to the headline, though, I don't know how you could possibly look at what Ted Cruz is doing and think it's disrupting democracy. If anything, it's ensuring democracy. It's the opposite.
He's got an R in front of his name, so he doesn't know what democracy means.
So does Mitt Romney.
He's the reverse of democracy, David. Get the R, or reverse of democracy?
Yes. But anyway.
Dumb racist reversals. Mitt Romney, presidential candidate, literally photographed at the civil rights movement, called him a racist during the 2008 campaign. Don't worry about it. And then, the 2012 campaign. And then literally a guy who voted for segregation is the party's nomination, and they vote him in. with a first black South Pacific Asian mountain lander, oceanic survivor.
Yes, she is a mountain
Holocaust
lander.
Enthusiast, Jew marrying, Chewbacca sounding name.
She's breaking a lot of glass ceilings. This is I'm not surprised by this, quite frankly. Headlines. Dr. Fauci says mandatory COVID-19 vaccines possible for schools and travel. Fauci said the U.S. could issue coronavirus vaccine passports. Schools doesn't surprise me, quite frankly. But
it's weird if there was just this guy that I knew that could, it's almost like he could predict the future, because I'm pretty sure he said that this is not going to just stop at schools. You might go to your job. Oh, you just needed to travel. Okay, well, what's travel? Oh, like out of state. Okay.
Out of your house.
County. Oh, okay. Now you can't leave your street without it. Oh, okay. I guess I'll get things Ubered to the corner.
But where's the truck with the vaccine? It's out of my county. Now I got to go drive and sit in your biological bread line until I get one. Oh, hey, sorry, all out of vaccines. Guess you can't work.
Hey, all those poor people that don't have cars, I need you to drive down here and stand in line for 14 hours in the cold while we give you a vaccine. Most disenfranchised people. We should give them first.
Yeah.
At least the governor of New York said, it is not my priority to get vaccinated until people in the Bronx and the east side of Depew and Jamaica, Queens, and he listed all these boroughs of poor neighborhoods in this state that he has ran for 10 years. Poor districts all over the place. Glad you have great representatives. Piece of shit.
He says it as if he has nothing to do with any of it.
He's literally saying it like, look at all this stuff. That's all these bad areas. Like, wow, it's weird. If we only hired people to take care of this. Could you imagine opening your window every morning and seeing your lawn a foot high? Be like, man, I'd pay a guy to mow the grass. you know what, maybe it'll be here tomorrow. And you wake up and the grass got taller.
Well, it's
No guy
interesting
mowing the lawn.
because the public sector can get away with that kind of talk, but no CEO of a private sector business could be like, man, this business is going downhill quick. We better do something about it. You're like, no, you're supposed to do something about it. You've been CEO for 20 years. That guy would be out. He'd be out of a job.
And then you call the landscape company, like, bro, my grass is taller. Like, oh, dude, I already came by. Like, when? You're like, oh, I did a good job, like the beginning of the season. We experience political Stockholm syndrome. That's what this guy does. The guy Andrew Cuomo just feeds me so much bullshit. It's political Stockholm syndrome. The guy literally wants to give vaccines to like criminals before elderly nursing home people. We're having shortages of the vaccines. There's news reports of people tainting the vaccines. That was one isolated incident, obviously. But there's fucking problems with it. And you want to give it to people in jail, when the people that are in old people jail, nursing homes, that you filled with positive people with coronavirus, is political Stockholm syndrome. And then his brother gets caught flexing his muscles on TV or something, or in a mirror. Ooh, admiring his Cuomo traits.
You come up with some fantastic slogans. Political Stockholm syndrome is probably my favorite. It was biological breadlines. You just took that one out of the. Political Stockholm syndrome is tremendous. Speaking of our last headline here, though, this is where it gets super interesting to me. Headlines. Large numbers of healthcare and frontline workers are refusing COVID-19 vaccines. Why would they do such a thing? It must be anti-science.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. They must, like I said, they must be anti-science. It's the only logical.
I wonder if they think a disease that dies in 30 seconds of sunlight or can be killed in 30 seconds without wiping in a pool of isopropyl alcohol and hand sanitizer, and if you wear a mask and gloves and goggles and a face shield and disposable this and that, it can help mitigate the spread. I wonder if those frontline workers are weighing they're weighing that they would rather risk getting COVID and they would rather go through all of the steps, believe in their immune system and their personal responsibility to clean and sanitize and be a good civilian to everybody and stay masked. They believe in that process because maybe they don't believe in untrusted vaccine, that just because necessarily it passed trials, that it's safe. We don't know long-term ramifications. We don't know what's going to happen to 100. They didn't do 100 million individual studies on this vaccine, but you want to administer it to a third of the country. That's their goals, 100 million Americans by the end of the year. That's what they say.
Yeah.
100 million. We haven't even done the test. How many people have you tested on? 1,000? A few thousand?
Well, it was a smaller sample than normal.
That makes me feel real good.
Did they say
there's going to be any ramifications of these healthcare workers?
I don't believe I saw anything I suppose that would be handled by the individual hospital or nursing home or whatever, wherever they work. It would be handled by their employer, I'm assuming, individually, probably differently across the board.
Because I know personally here in New York State, the law is with flu shots in nursing homes and in hospitals and in any kind of medical facility, unless it's like a private business. If it's like a state, anything tied to the state, you have to have a flu shot. And if you don't get a flu shot, you have to wear a mask during flu season.
Well, they're doing that now anyway, so I guess.
Right, but this was already a law for years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. But if they just continue that law with COVID, either way, they're still wearing the mask. So, whatever. I'll just keep wearing the mask. I'm wearing it anyway.
Didn't they say that's the best way to stop the spread other than a vaccine? Isn't that what they said? So why do I need the vaccine if I can do literally the next best thing you say is get sleep, eat right, don't drink alcohol, stay away from people, social distance, wear a mask, clean up, hand sanitize. I thought these were all the things we were doing that could potentially be a better way to kill it than the vaccine. I'm still waiting for my backpack lightsaber cleaning lamp. I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for my mobile R2.
It's in the mail.
Where's the Tesla cleaning bot that just comes into a room and swipes it in 360 degrees of UV power?
It just blasts UV light into the air.
Yeah, it just comes in and it just like spins in a circle, kills everything. Where is this? Where the guy can land a rocket on a freaking 10 square foot launch pad from space? Come on, dude.
They're probably just
right now, just in across the hot wire here. Daily Mail. Nancy Pelosi is elected for a 4th term as a House Speaker.
Old normal.
Sounds like they got the rubber stamp lined up. I wonder if she's handing out pens too after she signs these Biden bills, baby. I wonder if they're going to have her initials all over eBay. Here we go. Yeah, we passed the Green New Deal. We passed all this stuff. Hey, how'd it do in the Senate? Oh, it got shot down in the Senate. Hey, good job, Nancy. Passing a lot of bills. I'm glad nothing's getting done, though, you fuck. Sorry.
No, that's warranted. I
hate these people. Old normal.
I'm sure
that's what you guys want.
Everyone saw this. This is interesting. Headlines. President Trump beats out Dr. Fauci, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and the Pope for Most Admired Man of 2020. Interesting.
It's weird that he won that election, but not the real election.
Well, one of these things must have been rigged.
There's no widespread voter fraud that's take place in any polls, David. When Cosmopolitan runs a poll, there's 0% chance those are biased people. It's a real poll. Vetted sources. If you actually look at the bottom of Cosmopolitan, it says people familiar with the matter.
Oh, God. That's the worst. I hate that. Unnamed sources. People familiar with the matter. Name your source. Can't name your source, it's not a real source. If I can't vet your source doesn't matter to me.
So I know what do you got on your end? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hijack it.
Oh, I got one more.
To your headline.
Which can only mean one thing. Headlines! The latest COVID-19 bill includes a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures. The truth will be unraveled, my friend.
I don't think that's actually what that means, but okay.
No, the truth will be unraveled.
So what was the headline? Do you want to read your own words again, David?
Yeah, that's right. Not my words. Someone else's words. This is
people familiar with the matter?
This is people familiar with the matter. Adam Bankhurst, to be exact. I will put my source on the file. The latest COVID-19 bill includes a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures.
Disclosures.
That's right.
I thought you said they were going to say if they're real or not.
They will unravel the truth, is what I said.
So disclosure and truth are just spelled different. Is that what you're saying?
No, the disclosures will lead to the truth.
I'm saying that they're going to disclose if UFOs are real does not mean they're indicative of alien life forms.
Well, I know I'm not flying UFOs around. Are you flying UFOs around?
Wouldn't you like to know? Here, hold on. I'm going to pull the government. That's classified information.
Well, I'm here to tell you. I've told people this on the program. If we ever get to a point where I'm running for something, say, I don't know, the president, I'm telling you, my platform is going to be declassification of classified documents. And will I get assassinated? Yes. Will it be worth it? Probably not. because I won't get into office. I'd get assassinated before I got there. Declassify it all. I'm telling you. There's stuff in there way more interesting than aliens, I guarantee it.
I don't know if we cover this on this program, but I remember earlier this year, Senator Marco Rubio, when the Tic Tac videos were getting bounced around, when Joe Rogan was real popular with Bob Lazar earlier this year and all the alien controversies. Might have even actually been later last year. But Marco Rubio sat down with those people, some of those people. I think the guy from Blink-182 even. I know he does whatever with the whatever. And he was very curious because there's no system for these Navy pilots or these people in government or positions of power. Excuse me, to even like. There's no system to document what you saw. You know, like basically there's no like police report of a UFO encounter. And that's where like the steam started getting that Congress was getting involved and they wanted to have it so that there was a way that people could identify and document when they see things that they believe to be an unidentified aerial phenomenon or whatever they're calling it now instead of UFO. That's not what they call them. But yeah, this doesn't necessarily mean it's indicative of aliens. And I'm not trying to sound close-minded, but I'm not believing it until I kill my first alien. I'm sorry.
I will never let you kill the aliens. I will be
I'm
the
killing
alien.
aliens. David.
I will be the
David,
alien defender
David.
of the universe.
I'm going to kill aliens if they're coming here. This is not like I don't know why
I might let you sexually assault one, but you're not going to kill one of my aliens.
But you'll have one in a dungeon for me to sexually assault? You're a sick fuck.
What else?
That's how I put two things together and just made it up.
What else would you do with them?
Trudging along here, moving along.
That is the end of my current favorite segment. Headlines.
What do you think about the 180-day thing? How do you think about it?
It doesn't matter. It's not going to go through. They're not going to roll with that. There's no way. That's part of where the skepticism comes from, by the way. And that's part of what keeps the conspiracy alive, is the fact that they won't declassify any of these documents.
Yeah, because they can't. They can't. There's unelected black ops fucking. Imagine Elon Musk, but not a good guy. There's mad scientists with robots being cooked up some shit. They're cooking up UFOs and flying shit. The same people that put the man on the moon helped Hitler in Nazi Germany. That type of people, those sick fucks that think of crazy shit. We got them all over the place. We probably got them in international waters. That's why you always find them flying in the middle of the ocean, apparently, on freaking cruise liners. And nobody knows about them because
you see them all over like the Midwest.
Man, get out of
here. The Midwest. They were literally Area 51 in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, we don't know it's in Area 51.
I'm just saying that's where people saw it. That's the middle of the ocean.
I bet you this shit is the federal government owns so much land in the Midwest, it's not even funny. I guarantee you on this federal land, there's no laws. They can do anything they fucking want. There's magic shit in the middle of nowhere, and the government's just got billions of dollars to do whatever they want to make weapons to kill each other with. Okay? Okay? It doesn't mean that there's aliens. It's completely possible that we as humans still make just cool shit that looks like alien technology. So with that being said, I did see something Joe Rogan shared on his Instagram talking about how a Harvard professor believes that aliens have visited here earlier this year. And he believes that because he saw something in space, and I don't know. I thought space was fake and the earth is flat. But I digress. You're alien. It's black. We have we make the UFOs. We have the cool stuff. I believe
we have the cool stuff. Our stuff sucks.
Have the cool stuff. And I will say this until I get my hands on my first alien.
How come the people who operate the cool stuff see stuff in the air and go, wow, that stuff's way cooler than our stuff?
The guy flying the plane does not make the plane, David. And the
He's
guy
still
that makes
operating the cool
the
stuff, and he
guy-
knows his plane
the
can't
guy-
drop from the sky in less than a second.
Yeah, because
You know what
he's not
happens to
at
his
the
plane?
super cool
It
plane school.
crashes.
He's not at the super cool place where they make awesome planes.
Well, isn't that
Just so you know, David, the United States government didn't fire a rocket up into space and land it back on a launch pad. Tesla did that.
Yeah, and you know what? It's still current technology. It's technology that anybody can access.
It wasn't current. It
That
wasn't
wasn't
currently created.
That's not doing anything. It's not doing anything that fascinating.
He landed a rocket back on the same launch
So
pad.
what?
Never been done before. What the fuck is wrong with
Are you kidding me? So what? He landed a
it on
rocket?
the same launch pad and
Congratulations.
blast off of.
Was anyone surprised the
Congratulations.
first time they parked a car? Who cares? Way to land a rocket.
Dave, the car didn't blast into the atmosphere and then come back down with precision.
That's what. Could you imagine what the people who rode horses used to think on the first cars? Come on. Good job. You've landed a rocket. Get over yourself. Your self-driving cars are more impressive than self-landing rockets. You have to change the
because there's less stuff in space.
Their cars. It's way easier to just blast into an empty space.
Well, luckily, the guy that landed the thing on the launch pad is also taking care of driving cars around each other by themselves. So I'm glad we got the same guy on it. Further reinforcing my point that we got dark Dr. Jekyll's making sweet alien weapons war.
I don't buy it. It's too advanced for us. Way too advanced. You can't tell me a pilot in the Navy sees an object he's never seen before. I get it. He's not in the super cool FBI or whatever, this secret unelected agency you made up that creates alien weapons. But
the Black Ops military operation? No, he's on the fucking Navy. He's not a military contractor.
He sees a spaceship do things that his plane could never do. He's a little bit suspicious. I think he's right to be suspicious, that's all. He knows there's no rocket or jet in the world that could do what that thing did.
Yeah.
And he didn't make it up. It's documented.
Never said he did.
We're not advanced enough, I'm telling you. You think we're more advanced than we are.
5,000 years ago, we were building buildings out of rocks.
Yeah, that's right. We still are technically.
We blast shit up into the atmosphere and land it back on the Earth.
That's right. So who's to say in 5,000 more years we can't have this technology that I'm referring to? But that's in 5,000 more years. That's not right now. That's why I'm saying aliens are advanced. They have advanced technology. They're ahead of us, and that's why their stuff looks cool and out of this world because we don't have that technology yet. We'll get there.
As I'm having this conversation with you, I'm getting text messages about aliens from my friends.
Friends sound smart.
And they're talking about how basically that there's propaganda in mainstream movies that there's not really good alien movies for some whatever that means. When was the last time we had a blockbuster alien movies? I don't know, fucking Avengers? Like
Well, that's not real. I know, but people don't think of it like that. That's not
aliens. They fight aliens.
Yeah, but they're not thought of like an alien.
Oh, they're different aliens. Even though they land here with superior technology.
No,
T'Challa has
and stuff. That doesn't
the most powerful thing ever that came from space and
But
landed.
it's literally a science fiction movie. We're talking about reality.
It's a blockbuster movie. My friend is saying, when's the last time we had a good alien movie?
Independence Day. Independence Day. That's how long it's been.
Avengers is an alien movie, David.
It's not. It's a comic book superhero thing. That's totally different. Independence Day was the last time we had a good alien.
Just a comic book. Comic book movie. Okay. Okay, David, look at this. Literally just open a comic book, okay?
Okay.
To any page. See the alien?
Yeah, it's in a comic book. I'm talking about a real-life alien.
It's the alien. Look, aliens.
Yeah, that's right. In a comic book. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's a comic book movie. It's not an alien movie. I'm talking an alien movie. Real people on real life with aliens.
So you mean like Prometheus, like Aliens, or like a Ridley Scott movie?
I'm telling you, the last really great alien movie was Independence Day.
I could not think of a better segue of this movie conversation into the new segment I've cooked up. I'm going to call this. I don't have a name for it yet.
Gotta get a name.
So yeah.
Come on. I gotta make a thing for it, and you have no name for it. It's gonna be nameless segment.
All right, hold on. Let me work this out. Decembertainment.
Ooh, is this like movie reviews and stuff? Oh, I'm super amped for this. Are you serious? This is my new favorite segment already.
Yep, Decembertainment. All right, so there's a movie on Netflix. I was graced with watching it. It's kind of a chick flick. Not really.
This is a great start to Decembertainment.
Decembertainment. It's called Whatever Happened to Monday. It's like a sci-fi movie, okay?
It's a sci-fi chick flick.
It's not a chick flick. It's just like the main character is a chick.
What?
And there is a sex scene.
Oh, this is off to a good start. This is your first Decembertainment segment. Is a chick flick, sci-fi chick flick that's not a chick flick. You just refer to it as chick flick because there's a woman in it. And your biggest takeaway so far is there's a sex scene. You know, Ryan, there's a reason you don't review movies for a living.
All I'm saying is I can't wait till this flips back around to what the movie's really about. Because it's...
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, is this going to get worse? This has gone downhill quick. I got to watch this movie now. I hope you know this.
All right, Decembertainment. This is What Happened to Monday. Now, it's a sci-fi movie set in the future, kind of dystopian. And it's in a world where there's a one-child policy.
So it's in China.
There was no Asian main character, so I don't know. Come on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend called again. Back to Decembertainment. Yeah, so it's a one-child policy. But what happened in the movie, they explained that with all of the rise of population, they had to go to other extremes to make food and water. And they started spraying foods with chemicals, making genetically modified food, making food that lasts longer on the shelves, engineering things so that they are better and all that. So what happened was all of those chemicals in that world, people started having twins, triplets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. And that's why they had in this world, in this society, that's why they had to implement a one-child policy, was because there's not going to be enough for everybody. And having children is selfish.
Can I ask a question that might be answered by the movie?
What?
If there's a one-child policy and you have triplets, what do you do?
Ooh, that's what happened on Monday. What happens, Dave, is they take the other two.
And do what? Dispose of them, I should say. Dispose.
I don't want to spoil the movie for you, David, but they freeze them for a better tomorrow. We're going to wake you up when everything's better.
Oh, and Monday, I'm presuming, was one of the frozen ones.
It's a great flip at the end of the movie, actually, about Monday.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to get too far into this, but what I will say is the main character is one of 7 people. Her mom died they didn't know the dad, and they had 7 siblings. So their grandfather named them every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And whoever was that day, he had a very smart idea, and he crafted them. He homeschooled all of them. He didn't tell anybody they had siblings, nothing. He just said that he had one daughter, and her name was Karen whatever. And he trained them all to put on this persona while they leave the house. And the only one of them could leave the house at a time, and the only one that could leave the house on that day was Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. So It's very cool. The actor had to play 7 different girls, 7 different personalities. And then when
that's
you
wild.
think about, I don't know if you know about how filming works, like when you film things. I'm not a director, but I know a little bit. And when she's on scene as 7 people, well, she obviously isn't acting 7 things at once. So they have to film her one at a time, doing 7 things for one shot. Like the amount of like filmography, like the actual techniques in the movie to put the image there was cool to begin with. Not to mention her acting was good, the story was cool. It was what we live right now, dystopian. You know how they were able to know if you had more than one kid or not? They spied on you. Everybody had a bracelet on. It looked like an iWatch. That's where all your money came from. That's how you checked into checkpoints, because everything was zoned, because everything was overpopulated. And it's very cool. Dystopian movie about one-child policy. It's a good B movie. There's no big name actors in there. It's not crazy high budget. Good movie, man. So
Yeah.
What happened on Monday? It's on Netflix.
Well, I suggest everyone checks it out. I will have to put it in my list.
Cool.
And I'll get around to it when I
I'm not the
do.
best with watching stuff, so I was actually able to sit down, relax, and digest a movie. So I took up the opportunity, and yeah, very cool. And it kind of, especially movies like that whole, Orwellian style dystopian. When I love like superimposing modern policy on those movies, and that's why they obviously make them. That's why they have that type of art, is so that you can look at your own time and be like, wow, they got spied on. We get spied on. They track them through their bracelet. We track them through our phones. Like, to see these dualities, to see these like contrasts and reflections, and not everybody does that. So that's stuff to think about.
I will say I would like to participate in Decembertainment at some point, but I'm not much a film guy. I mean, I do watch movies and stuff. Certain movies,
TV shows,
certain genres and things, but I love a good documentary.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love a good documentary. So if I were to ever contribute to this, it would likely be documentary related.
Cool. I'll wait for your Decembertainment.
Yeah. Mine would like
not to pat myself on the back. Great branding, by the way. So yeah, everybody check it out. It was cool. You can break down the movie, and I will say before I move on to probably my last point for the evening was it was weird. I know it was a movie, and it was made before COVID, but it's awfully weird to see large groups of people without masks on. Like, just the image of it was like foreign. I'm like, wow.
Is it relatively new? Like, what year was this?
It's if it's 3 years old, I would be surprised. It might even come out this year, for all I know.
Gotcha.
I did not pick the movie or anything. It was put on by the host, the place I was. But I enjoyed it. I was able to watch all of it and enjoy it. So
I'll put it on my list. I'll definitely watch it.
Sorry, I hit the home button by accident here.
Sounds like quite a complicated studio setup you got there.
Yeah, I hit the home button by accident.
I hit the one button. I hit the literally one button my phone has.
I don't even have a button. I have to swipe up.
Oh, Apple got rid of their only button?
Yeah, I love it. I don't need buttons. Buttons are obsolete. Buttons are a waste of time.
Wires, anything. You don't need charging pads, charging cords, charging bricks. You don't need any of it.
Wireless charging? I love them.
I do like some wireless charging. It's actually really convenient because I can't say this about Apple products because I don't own them, but I will say one of the downfall of Android phones, no matter what kind of charger, no matter what, the chargers suck. They always suck. Every single time. I don't know if I'm hard on them. I don't know what. They're always trash. I love wireless charging. I don't have to worry about stupid chargers. The ports, 2 ports, auxiliary ports and charging ports are always trash. I could do away with both of them and be fine. And I have, actually. I have wireless headphones, and I have wireless charging. These are not wireless, though, because these stay in the aux on the microphone all the time.
AirPod Pros, people, go get them. AirPod Pros. Worth it. All right. You finished what you had to cover, right?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right. Now I'm gonna double back onto some politics and stuff, and I may black out here because there's actually an assembly bill being proposed in the state of New York this week. It's getting voted on Tuesday, and I was notified about it on Saturday. So I was it was sent to me. So I will probably go black and I will actually read the legalese because I think it's very important that we understand, because we have spoken on this podcast that when we allow them to define the term, we allow them to have the argument. We allow them to pick and position and create the battlefield over the term, over whatever it is in a law, whether it's hate speech or whatever it is. When we allow them to define the term, we're allowing for that. And they do it through legalese. So it's very important when they make these laws, especially about what I'm going to read. The language in there is what upsets me. Okay? It's not that we're trying to make laws to make the world a better place. This law in particular deals with COVID. So I understand COVID. I don't think the government is necessarily being nefarious. I will never trust them personally. But it's the language in the documents from the government that is threatening, that is scary, that is a problem, and that is why I'm going to discuss it. So let me pull it up here. All right, here it is. This is the second section of the law. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others. All right, hold on. Let me just read. I'm sorry. This is introduction. Read once and verify. An act to amend the public health law in relation to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. Okay, it's only 4 pages, and this is what it is explicitly for. Section 2 of this law, this pre-ratified bill, Section 2. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity, or high morbidity. The governor or her or his decree, including but not limited to the commissioner of the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and or detention of such a person or a group of such people, a group as well, which is also important here, of such persons by issuing a single order identifying such persons either by name or by reasonably specific description of the individuals or of group being detained. Basically, I'll say the words again that are scary. In the opinion of the governor or of his delegation, including not limited to the heads of local health departments. Now, I'm going to ask everybody, like I ask all the time when we bring up what these politicians say, David, do we elect the head of the health department?
Well, no, I suppose we don't.
So the guy that I do elect, also the governor's opinion, I'm glad we only elect one person in New York, right? We only elect one person, apparently, that makes laws. So one person, in his opinion, can go to other people who aren't elected, who will hold no accountability to the decision that they force on we the people, the sovereign individual. He goes to his comrades, and based on their opinions or their research or their science, whatever they say, the governor can detain you.
And that's scary. Here's the extra scary thing. According to what you just read, he doesn't even need to go to their opinion either. He can just
his
on
opinion, or
so it could be on his own opinion.
Dude, the legal words are in the. I'll read it in the order even, so I don't mix it up. Opinion of the governor. In the opinion of the governor. After consultation with people that are unelected, that hold we don't even hold them accountable. Just going to these people, saying whatever in his opinion.
Yes,
So now
not even based
I'll
on
take this
fact.
further. No, it's just
Which
his
is,
opinion.
even if it was based on fact, it's still a terrifying bill. But it's even
In the
worse.
day and age where we talk about the police having too much power and minorities getting killed and all this, it's pretty amazing to me that we give up all of our basic defense legally in legalese against all of the government. Which, who enforces the policy of the government? The fucking police. You know who's going to come and pick my ass up when I don't get a COVID vaccine? The fucking police. Because I might danger everybody's neighbor. Now this is about everybody. I wonder if they're going to put air sensors in next. They'll put us all in little trapped bubbles like fish tanks. They'll be able to monitor the air so I don't put too much carbon up in the atmosphere. Maybe like the Simpsons movie where they put Springfield in a dome. Maybe that's what we're going into with our zoning, heading it back to my movie I watched this week with our zones and our sectors. Oh, that's right. They're FEMA camps. They already have these labeled. It's weird. Yeah. So in the governor's opinion, now in there, I don't believe there's any language about the vaccine and being distributed. Okay. But it's just the fact that they want to be able to detain you if you have the disease and you basically, I'm assuming if you refuse to comply with quarantine or something, they're building the basics that,
Well, to use the term you always use, they're greasing the skids.
yes. Exceeding 3 business days or such person request release, the governor or his delegates shall make an application for a court order authorizing such detention within 3 business days after request. In no event shall any person be detained for more than 60 days without a court order authorizing such detention. The governor or his or her delegates shall seek further court review of such detention within 90 days following the initial court authorization. It sounds like they love me so much that they're just like, yeah, I'll put you in behind bars for 90 days and just, All right, here it is. There's vaccines in here. Vaccination. Hold on. "12. In addition to removing or detention, or is referred to subdivision 2, the governor or his or her delegate may, in his or her discretion, issue and seek enforcement of any other orders that here may determine are necessary or appropriate to prevent dissemination or transmission of contagious diseases such as illnesses posed a threat to the public health, including but not limited to orders requiring any person or persons who are not in the custody of the department to be excluded to remain isolated and quarantined at home or in the premise of such person's choice that is applicable to the department." And for other illnesses, to require the testing or medical examination of person who may have been exposed to or affected by a contagious disease or may have been exposed or to contaminated with dangerous amounts of radioactive materials or toxic chemicals. Oh, I thought this was a bill about COVID, David.
Yeah, I was just
I thought
going to
this
say it's
was about
interesting. They said other diseases.
I thought this was about COVID. This is so that we don't kill people's grandparents because COVID, public health, right? Yeah. Greasing the skids because they just umbrella. This is the shit they did with the Patriot Act. They're like, hey, look, the buildings are burning. You need to give me all your civil liberties. Nothing's written in stone yet. We're going to figure it out later. And we're just like, okay. And then years later, they're using it to sell me Coca-Cola. This is how they do it. They're doing it to you. In 4 pages, you have given up the biological right of your body.
4 pages.
4 pages. This is 4 pages long. This is the last section.
They needed 5,500 to do a $600 check.
It's weird. They probably could have gave me $600 in 4 pages.
4 pages. What's in the 5,500?
Opinions. Yeah. What's in the 5,000, baby?
Let's break this down real quick. In a 4-page bill.
Let me get the vaccines is right after this. That's why I started reading this. This is just like the big last part. Contaminated with dangerous amounts of radioactive material or toxic chemicals such that said individual may be present a danger to others. to undergo decapitation processes deemed necessary by the department. The department. We the people. I'm sure that department was an elected official head that I can hold responsible to if he's fucking a piece of shit. Such person or person shall, upon the request, be afforded an opportunity to be heard, but the provisions of hold on, I missed the vet. I'm sorry. By contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, preventive medication, or vaccination, including directly observed therapy to treat the disease. So this right there, did you see that, Dave? You know what they're violating right there? Right there. How funny. They just circumvent HIPAA laws. Prevention medication or vaccine, including directly observed therapy to treat the disease and follow infection control provision for the disease or to require an individual who's been contaminated with radioactive material to present a danger to others to undergo decapitation deemed necessary by the department shall upon request be afforded the opportunity to be heard, but the provision, although 11 of the section shall not authorize the provision. Yep. So that to me sounds like it's a little skady around the HIPAA laws that we're supposed to have, so that we have patient confidentiality. It now seems that if you're carrying a complicable disease, or apparently if I eat enough mercury and I can poison somebody, or I breathe in radioactive paint chips or something, they can just do whatever they want with me because I can contaminate people.
Well,
4 pages, they took all that from you.
So again, to break this,
few thousand words.
So again, to break this down, at the end of the day, nobody's saying this is going to be the case, but you got to be cautious. In the opinion of a governor, you can be detained for maybe having an infectious disease.
Yeah, if he talks to his people and they deem that you, for whatever various reasons, are contagious or a threat to public health safety.
But at the end of the day,
his opinion.
But at the end of the day, based on zero fact, a governor can just blindly throw you into a detainment.
And forcibly watch you get your therapy.
Oh, what a sick bastard he is. He would too. He'd love to watch you.
Remember when you said, Grease, you got a text to leave your house? Well, here we are. Not only do I got a text to leave my house, but if I get sick, I got to get watched by a government agent to make sure that I'm taking my medicine properly.
Not even. Well,
I wonder if, hey, I'm just throwing it out there, people. I wonder if, let's say I have an infectious disease and I go to the doctors with my state-appointed representative, and he talks to my doctor to make sure everything is going to be okay, and they give me my little bag of medication. And then when I drive home, I wonder if at 5:30 when I'm supposed to take my medicine, I have to call my contact tracer to be like, hey, yeah, I'm opening the bottle right now. Okay, let me see on video chat. And I'm going to have to video chat with a state-issued employee in my own house so that I can prove that I'm taking the medicine so that I'm not a contagion to the rest of society. And it's also funny, on top of me, there's nothing in there about money. What if I do get an infectious disease and you could throw me in? What about my rent? I thought this was the party that freezes rent. What about unemployment? I know these are different. This is going to fall in different bills. But sure, here we are back at it again, that they will leverage your economic freedom and sovereignty for basically the continuity of government. Public health crisis, public health to the public health. What that public health is the continuity of government. What it's saying is they don't give one fuck about their civilians. They care about keeping power and keeping the money in the machine and keeping their lives. Once again, government didn't get smaller. Government didn't take a pay cut. They're going to be reaching twice as hard in their pockets for this whole COVID thing. And then they're passing the very legislation to gut my ability to fight them.
Is there... This is so mind-blowing. In this...
4 pages.
If you are detained in the opinion of the governor because you have a infectious disease or whatever the case may be, do you have a right to it? Is there some kind of trial? Can you prove the opinion of the governor wrong? And even if you can, and say you get out because the court says, wait a minute, you can't do that. In the opinion of the governor, can he send you right back? I mean, does this end?
Dude, Dude, let's just take something similar that could be, we'll do the apples to apples thing, right? In the psych ward, if you refuse medication, they go to a court. The doctors go to a court and say, look, here's our evidence on why we believe in our opinions. People are familiar with the matter. The people familiar with the matter and their opinion thinks that this person needs medication. They're refusing it. The court can take a rubber stamp and say, forcibly give it to them. And they can hold you down with a court authority and stick a needle in you or whatever they got to do to get you to eat your medication. Now, if they'll do that for a crazy person who's schizophrenic or bipolar or whatever you got going on up there, I'm not making fun of mental health. They'll do that for COVID. They'll have that same heavy-handed approach that, oh, this is for your own good. This is because in that scenario, the psych ward it's for your own good. Well, now this is for the public health. That could be anything, man. What if I have AIDS? Is AIDS a contagion, a biological contagion that could be affected the public health?
Yeah.
Can't have you outside without protection. I guess we have to forcibly castrate you. A little extreme. I'm being a little obnoxious, but you can see where I'm going with this. Like I thought this was COVID, Bill. Now, if I breathe in too much lead chips, if I'm radioactive.
I hate to break it to you, Ryan.
It's funny they go from infectious diseases to radioactive.
Well,
like,
conveniently,
that's like literally the spectrum of everything.
Conveniently, I hate to break it to you, but Lake Erie used to be a toxic waste dump for years. So I promise you, radioactive was not placed in that bill by accident.
It sounds like they got corporate. Oh, that's weird. Corporate.
And if anybody doesn't believe that the waters of Lake Erie, I tell you right now, there's a reason I will never eat a fish out of Lake Erie that I caught. I caught a 3-eyed fish in Lake Erie before. Lake Erie was a toxic waste dump for years. And if you're worried about the mercury in the fish, it's the last year worries out of Lake Erie.
Yep, 3-eyed Canal was in Tonawanda, and then the lake caught on fire by Cleveland. Forever known as the mistake by the lake.
That's promising. Water is not supposed to be flammable for people who don't know.
Pretty sure water actually puts out fires, but what do I know? I'm a science denier.
Well, I suppose we should say goodbye. This is going to be our last show since you are going to be detained in the opinion of the governor.
Hey, Andy, I would tell you where I live, but you already know that, so.
Yeah, he's well aware.
Yeah, he's also well aware of all the people who have assault weapons because, I had to put it on the list if you had
he
one.
He can access the IP address on this chat anytime he wants, I promise.
While I'm on it with my scumbag governor in New York, for those who don't know, the SAFE Act, which is what got me politically active, if you want, check out the first episode of this podcast, understand. The governor in the SAFE Act has set thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe tens or hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars aside in the state budget so that he could have a SAFE Act enforcement agency, basically, within the state police. And for people who don't know, the state police answer directly to Andrew Cuomo. They don't answer to the people. The state police are actually the governor's police department. Like, sheriffs and the state police are different. Like, my local Depew police is different than a state trooper. Like, the state troopers work for the governor. They don't work for the people like local police do. Or the sheriff, which is an elected position. So there's provisions that already the security force, the police force that works for him, has money set aside for 2 officers to be the head of this organization within the organization. This is elected people, right? This sounds very elected. And their job is for SAFE Act enforcement. And the enforcement in the SAFE Act is about if you don't register your assault weapon, it is considered whatever substatute of a felony. So back to the governor hiding things in 4-page bills that can rape you of your civil liberties. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's done it with your liberties, and he's done it with your money. So soon these things will come together. I'm convinced the world's been labeled a conspiracy too long. So I guess I have to leave it there. But Yeah, I don't know. I still think China's behind all this, so I'll leave it there with my conspiracies. But this is a Chinese invasion, man. It is.
I just hope if they take over, at the very least, I get to. At the very least,
Meet aliens.
I do get to feast on delicious Chinese food once we're taken over.
Well, hey, just remember, he said globalism is inevitable. So to that, I say the answer to 1984 is 1776. So, it's been Ryan and Dave with December 1773. I appreciate everybody sticking around. If you like the content, share the content. Stay locked to the channel. Be part of the December Nation. Subscribe. Follow us on all major platforms of social media. Yeah, I glad I got back at it, Dave. Thanks for you and Eve holding it down last week. It was good seeing you, and I'll see you next week, my friend.
All right, I will see you next Monday.
Oh, and I know it's afterwards, but I hope you had good holidays, everybody. Also, you, Dave, and your family, and God bless all that jazz, and Happy New Year, and live long, prosper, whatever.
Yeah, so the new year, just real quick before we go. From 1989 until 2020, I fell down exactly 0 flights of stairs. In 2021, I have fallen down 2 flights of stairs. Off to a good start.
What a statistic.
Not bad. I've already doubled my record.
A guy I know lost his thumb yesterday, so.
Oh, nice.
Bringing it in hot. What would you rate 2021? 1 thumb up. Just like this podcast. 1.5 thumbs up.
Not bad.
All right, dude. Be
Super
well, man.
sick hitchhiker thumb. All right.
Oh,
Thanks,
but
Ryan.
hey,
Well-
I know we didn't touch on it. Just always remember, people, 1776, George Washington, whatever year it was, he sailed across Delaware and fucked up the Germans. Let's do it again.
What?
Fuck the Germans. No, I was just thinking about how George Washington fucked up some Haitians. Haitians? Hessians? Hessians? Cut this out of the damn podcast.
Can I leave it?
Goodbye.
This is Ryan at his best.
Spontaneous Ryan.
All right, see you, Ryan.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy your political Stockholm syndrome and your biological bread lines.
Called it.